couple of members that need to leave at 3:45, we'll go ahead and jump to sort of an update on the ongoing tasks. And if we get a couple more people here, we'll be able to vote on the minutes in the next little bit. So update and ongoing tasks. Obviously, COVID continues to be a large portion of the communications effort right now. As we have a resurgence in our area, it is unfortunately taking up a lot of the air in the atmosphere right now. So we are trying to balance that with all the other messages around the holidays right now. We are preparing some messaging reminding families to keep the gatherings small over the next few weeks to limit exposures, working with our vulnerable and minority populations to find messaging that resonates well with the different groups that we work with in the community, and then the best platforms to get that information to them on. We're also going back to some basics on things like how to wash your mask and how to take it off safely, and all of those reminders that we didn't think we would need 9 months into this situation, but we still do. But in addition to that, we are trying to find some holiday messaging from the city with the brand in mind. We did the gratitude pumpkin, which resulted in some really positive interactions across the different platforms. And I hope you all saw the actual gratitude pumpkin on our different social media platforms on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I think that's something that we can make an annual tradition, both in the virtual platform, but potentially a physical gratitude pumpkin. And thank you, Mayor, very much for bringing that idea to the committee. And we made it work. Then the other ongoing pieces we have right now related to the brand, I do think it's important that we continue to find ways to tell the independent stories. Unfortunately, with everything going on, we have not had a lot of opportunity to do the community spirit. But in a meeting earlier this afternoon, there was a reminder that smiles look different this year. And the way we express our thanks looks different this year. So what I have asked our partners through the different organizations that we work with, who are really on the front lines of what's going on in our community right now, is to share some pictures of people smiling behind their masks as they're working in the different areas, be it social services, mental health, housing, all of the different ways that we're serving the community on a regular basis. And we will do a montage, both static and hopefully video, just talking about the thanks that we feel for those different groups right now. And eventually we'll do one for volunteers as well. Volunteers have played a tremendous role this year, doing thousands of hours of service to help in medical response, food response, everything to make our communities work the way that they need to right now. And really, we owe them a lot of gratitude, just in general, not just for this holiday season. So we'll be working on those pieces over the next few weeks before the holiday and the end of the year. But we have a lot of ongoing communications just in general with winter changes and all of that. We have snow again this week, but looking for ways to talk to the public and not always talk about COVID. It's really important, and we understand that it's really important because we're tired. Everybody's tired and doesn't want to hear about it all the time. So hopefully a couple more people are able to join us. I know at least one of them said that they were going to be late, but we will go to holiday communications. And as I mentioned in the update of ongoing tasks, we had the gratitude pumpkin, and now in December, we're preparing to launch the community wreath again. So Zach's going to give a brief update on what we did last year and then how we are going to implement it here in the next week on different platforms.
Let me see if I can pull up a picture real fast to show you what we did last year. Okay, so it's probably going to come through like sideways or something. Maybe I can. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Okay. So this was what got dubbed the holiday wreath of photos from last year. And the idea came out of one of these meetings prior to the holiday. And so basically what we did was I went to the Parks, Rec, and Tourism Department and talked to a couple of guys over there. And they were able to weld together like a big steel hoop. And then on the steel hoop, there are a bunch of little key rings or whatever all the way around it. And then they incorporated a little bit of the city's new logo in there too. So we had that built, and then kind of just pressured people on social media to go to a submission page that we had set up through our IT department, and just said, hey, submit a picture of the people that you're thankful for basically in your life, whether it's friends or family or yourself or your son or your daughter or your grandkids or your work family. Just submit a picture of people that mean something to you. And then we partnered with Corporate Copy Print, who printed off all the photos for us. I cut them all out and then attached them to the wreath. And I think last year I had pretty lofty goals. It was like, oh, I want 500 pictures. Well, we got like barely over 100, and this thing was like crammed to like there would have been no way. So we're going to try something similar again this year. Kind of the thing last year was that I was trying to aim to have it finished before the mayor's Christmas tree lighting, and then put it up on display there. And then usually, the mayor has a handful of events over that weekend. So the idea was to put it up at the Christmas tree lighting, and put it up at the Christmas concert, and then the Christmas carnival, and then stick it in City Hall after that for the rest of the month. So we want to do something similar. I think we can kind of reuse a lot of what we used last year. I talked to Sunshine in the IT department. She's reopened the survey form. I've updated the web copy because obviously COVID-19, you can't just, you have to kind of address that. So I've got that updated and a request into Sunshine to update that. I haven't heard back from Tom at Corporate Copy Print yet about their partnering with us. So I'm waiting to hear on that. And then besides that, I just don't know exactly what we're going to do with it this year as far as how we're going to display. I know we talked last time about, putting it up and maybe like in the Uptown Market or something like that. But I don't know if you guys think it should be displayed in one place. We can just find one place, or if you want to try to move it around, we can do something like that. The wreath can be hung. It's got a wire on it, so it can be hung kind of like a picture. But yeah, that's kind of where that's at.
So it's not going to get inside. I mean, it can't withstand being outside, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it could be outside for a pretty short period of time, but if it had the wind blowing on it, or if it got any rain on it or anything like that, all the photos would be either lost or ruined.
Yeah. I mean, because we're really, it's a little bit tricky because we're really not encouraging people to go inside, to places. So it would ideally be someplace where it could hang in, you know, in a window or something where people could see it, but it wouldn't, they wouldn't necessarily go indoors. And, you know, I'm typically pretty resistant to doing things exclusively in one area of town. You know, I mean, that I'm always aware that, you know, that
People feel left out.
actually get to participate in it. So I don't know. Let's just, I mean, but yeah, at the same time, it's like the square in Englewood are the most accessible in terms of having a place where you could hang it inside and people could, you know, come by and walk by and see it. I mean, they're the most walkable areas. So
I think I wonder if, I don't know if somebody here has a good, I used to have a contact at the mall and then she left during COVID, but I'm sure that there's like a storefront in the mall, maybe that we could hang it up in, kind of on the east side of town. That's a place where there's actually, because the other problem is that you can hang it in a window, but just there aren't a lot of places that are getting any traffic really to begin with right now.
We do have a new contact at the mall, Zach, and she is actually on this committee and was working to attend, so she may be able to join us late, but we can reach out there. But I think that there's an opportunity here where we could do a digital version of the wreath. It would take a little bit more time from us, but we could do it so it was a sort of collage situation where the pictures flip through, so we saw all of them for a few seconds, and then you end with an image of the pictures in the wreath or an actual picture of the wreath, so that we could still share those in a COVID friendly way and celebrate the holidays in that platform. It is a little bit more intensive on our end from a staff perspective, but it's doable.
Okay. So if we did a digital version of it, would you want to bother with the physical version of it or no?
I think I'd like input from this team as to what they would like to see this year.
I like the thought of a physical version, as long as it's not, you know, cost prohibitive. And I do like the idea of it being traveling, because, you know, not everybody has access to computers or is on social or what have you, and it might be a nice way to maybe reach more people. I saw that, I think at the Independence Center, they have partnered with the Shriners, and they've done the Christmas tree festival kind of fundraiser thing, I think, in an empty storefront. And so maybe, you know, maybe there is another spot someplace within the Independence Center or in a window or something up there. I just, if that's feasible, I like that idea.
Meg, I think you're muted.
I did that. I'm so upset. I've been very good about that in all of my meetings. So, okay. So let's work on launching and collecting the pictures, because that's the big bulk of it. And then we can work on where we can display it. There have got to be ways that we can get it in a window in sort of the uptown area. George Owens has the gingerbread trail, so we could potentially do it out there on the east side of town. We can talk to the mall and see if we can get over there, and maybe do it, you know, different areas for 3 or 4 weeks over the transition between 2020 and 2021.
So
but if you guys,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Cindy.
What's the deadline to get photos sent in?
That's a good question. Last year we did it kind of over the course of just a couple of weeks. So assuming I've got everything in order by the end of this week, then maybe we say like the 18th. And then that would allow us to display it the week leading up to Christmas and, you know, possibly a couple weeks after that.
Okay.
And I mean, we can keep it up, you know, after Christmas. I mean, through New Year's, and you know, it doesn't.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's still a
necessarily-
good message.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. What do you think about locations?
So we'll work on the locations and let you guys know where that is. And then obviously once the submission is open to the public, we'll send it to the committee and you guys can share on the different platforms as well too. So other than that, we don't have any firm holiday pieces outside of the health reminders and the thank yous. If there's anything else that you guys suggest we try to incorporate, we're open to the ideas. But we are trying to balance all of the different things that are going on and still keep things rolling. The 2021 planning, I think we begin the initial conversation today, and then we really kick it up in 2021 in our January meeting. But key events to mark on the calendar. Obviously, we are hopeful that the Truman Library is able to open in 2021 when safety measures are allowed for that. We will have hopefully the return of the Easter egg roll and all of those other fun community events in 2021. They may look different still then, so we will have to modify our advertising on those pieces accordingly. But eventually life will get back to normal and we can start talking about things other than masks and social distancing and all of that. But are there other key events from your perspectives, organizations, that we should add to the list of 2021 to prepare for?
Meg, I'm happy to send over what we've been talking about at the square. You know, one of the big things for us too is Preservation Month in May that also coincides with Harry Truman's birthday. We're kind of thinking that by May we have a good shot at being more back to normal. So we're kind of, you know, looking at stuff like around that time in the summer as kind of being where more of our heavy events will happen. But I don't want to take up everybody's time with talking about everything that we look at, you know, doing event-wise, but I'm happy to send that over to you and you can kind of take a look.
Thank you, Cindy. Definitely would like to see that. And we'll reach out to our tourism groups to get any of the key pieces from our different venues for celebrations, anniversaries, etc. I imagine if we are able to reopen the historic sites and all of those in a safe way, that will be an occasion that we mark because they were not able to have their traditional year this year and just celebrate that. I think all of us are looking forward to the time when we can come together again safely, and that will be a mark or celebration.
Did you see those notes that I sent over from the Missouri 2021, the bicentennial?
I was not on that call. Do you want to give a brief on that, Cindy?
I wasn't on the call either. It's just, I was just the first call to talk about the state's bicentennial year, which is next year. And they went over just some brief ideas and events and promotions and things like that, like certain dates to keep on your list, on your calendar, that type of stuff. So.
Okay. Yeah, I've pulled up the email now. There are poster contests, there are time capsules, community legacies. So we'll sort of get through this piece of it and look for opportunities that we can participate. Obviously, independence plays an important role in the sort of history of our state, and want to make sure that we help celebrate the year. So I will sort of chew through that with our tourism team, and we'll bring some more formalized pieces for you guys in January.
And one other thing to note, I believe April is like Volunteer Awareness Month or something like that. When you were talking about all the volunteers that have been helping here during the time of COVID, I don't know if there's a virtual way to, have a party with people, recognize them or do something then, but it's kind of a nice time.
Isn't that normally, Meg, when we do our volunteer breakfast? So we're going to do a virtual holiday party for our emergency operations center volunteers tonight. So we'll see how that goes. And that might give us, there's not hundreds of them like there is with when we do our tourism volunteers or our statewide volunteers. But, we could, that's definitely something. There might be, but that's a good thing to kind of put on the radar too. We've had a lot of volunteers this year who've helped with, kind of extraordinary things around COVID. And there's a lot of volunteers who haven't been able to do their service, but we still, we don't want to forget about them.
Very much so. I think 2021 is going to be a year where we do look back and give thanks to a lot of different people. As I mentioned earlier, our frontline employees, I don't think any of us have looked at grocery store workers the same since all of this started, or our delivery people. They have become heroes in a lot of ways throughout all of this and are owed gratitude for all that they have done for our community. So we have the key goals that we had created for this year, and I'll pull those up here and read them to you. We are also, I think it's time to evaluate again what those are for our next year. I think it's reasonable that our goals changed this year because of the situation that we're in, and that's okay. Life happens, and we can't keep things the exact same every time. The main goals that we had this year were to increase civic pride, highlight that independence is a great place to live and work, and increase awareness amongst younger generations of the city's history and Truman. So over the next month, I would encourage you guys to think about those and what they mean for our city. The state centennial bicentennial celebration is a good time for us to really focus in on the history and how we can share that with the different generations and look for opportunities to celebrate that in new ways and tell different stories there. Celebrating independence is a great place to work. I really think the community stories idea that we talked about last time, when we are able to get staff out and interview in a safe place and safe way, are a great way to highlight that sort of unique aspects of independence and why it's such a great place to live. And so there's, I think, still ways that we can maximize off those, but if you guys would like to modify them or really hone in on some strategies, we can look at that. The council is also in the midst of reevaluating the strategic plan for the City of Independence and is collecting public engagement on that right now. So if you guys have not already completed the survey for that, it's a 2-minute video and then a quick few questions related to the survey. I would encourage you guys to do that, and the council will be reviewing those and making a decision on what the next sort of phase of the strategic plan is in the first quarter of 2021, which then we can incorporate also in the branding aspect of things. And then it's time to look at the branding projects and if there are requests for budgets. There are a lot of budgetary considerations that we are looking at as we go into 2021, 2022. COVID has definitely impacted everybody's budget, and the city is not excluded from that. So we are being very cautious as we look at all of those pieces and aware of the situation that we're in with the uncertainty that's out there. So that doesn't mean that we can't look at opportunities. It just means that we may have to be creative in the implementation of them, and budget will need to be considered in all of that. I know one of the big goals from this committee is to have materials that we could potentially sell with the city's brand or identity behind it. We'll have to be cautious on that, but we can include a potential budget item on there. But if there are things that you guys would like me to start thinking of and looking for budgetary impacts of, let me know. And we can talk about those in January. And we have to submit budget proposals for review beginning in February. So it'll be a pretty quick turnaround over the next few weeks. But if there's any ideas that you guys would like me to start working on now, let me know, and we can talk about them in January.
Hey, Meg, I bought from Truman Library, sent out some stuff to purchase online, and I bought Harry Truman's coffee from the roastery, and it smells really good. I haven't had it yet, but yeah, I thought, oh, it'd be a great Christmas present for us and my son. So, but I remember them talking, the gentleman from the branding company, I forget, but the guy with the hair, he had a great accent. But he talked about candles, and they also have a bourbon too. That I didn't buy the bourbon because I can't ship it to Florida. But I thought that might be kind of a people buy candles a lot, so that might be something. If we could somehow get that smell, because the coffee smells really good. And
that's a good idea, Mary. Yeah, Steve Chandler was the individual who helped us with our branding, and one of the communities that they worked with was in the Civil War, and it was bourbon and gun smoke was the candle scent that they had from the cannons and stuff. So I don't know if there's a unique scent. I think if you look at some of the stuff that we had from the branding, funnel cakes was up there from Santa Calagon, and I can't remember some of the other scents, but yeah, there were some unique scents that people connected with the city.
I mean, that would be a great project for the chamber to do a Santa Calagon candle. I mean, that would be really cool and incorporate our brand, but do something like that would be neat. I mean, we could help with it, of course.
Yeah. Funnel cakes and root beer. That's what I think of when I remember the smells of Santa Clara.
So the bourbon and the coffee were developed by the Truman Library for the anniversary, but they might be willing to. I mean, I think it was like kind of in a limited capacity, but since that relationship's been established with Tom's Town and the roastery, we might just be able to extend that beyond the year of, the 2020 75th anniversary year of Truman.
I think that's a tremendous idea, Mayor. And I know we have a couple other breweries in the area that have unique drinks associated with the city. Three Trails has some Truman related offerings there, and I know the others in town do as well. It's finding the correct platform to bring those to the public's awareness and potentially sort of bring them together for sale that is challenging. If you guys go or have gone to other communities where you see sort of those community branded items, you may kick up a conversation with the people at the store and see how they do it. And we'll reach out to our peers as well and see if there's a way that we could rent space or sort of cost share that. So those are the big things that I had for the meeting, and I apologize. I had two other people that said that they would be able to come today, and they have let me know since then. So we do not have a quorum yet again for today's meeting. So we will bring together a lot of meeting minutes for our January meeting. I will again verify that we will have more than that for January and finalize that. If there's anything else that you guys want to talk about, we do still have some time. Anything that you guys would like us to work for January or through the holidays, let me know.
I did want to say that the Mayor's Breakfast video on YouTube, that was really great. I was like, I don't know who the guy that was playing the piano, I don't remember, but I really enjoyed it. It was really good. Thanks for all the hard work and stuff. So
that's Mitch Langford. He's our city prosecutor. Yeah, I thought it came together really well, and I appreciate all of you encouraging us to go ahead and do it. It was, I thought it turned out really well, and I really loved the diversity and the messages to different, I thought Meredith's message to the students was really, really good. And yeah, so I thought it came together well. We have, I'm trying to think about, other, we're trying to do the Truman Award, and that's becoming a big, everything is just, harder, but just it's important that when we do this, just sharing them out on social media and making sure that we're reaching people and they're getting the chance to see that stuff. So even now that it's been a week later, we can still drive people to watch that video. I think of the prayer breakfast, I think it was really hit a nice note.
Well, we appreciate everybody's willingness to work with us on those projects. It has been a unique time where people are sending us videos just from their phones. So with that, we will conclude today. And again, start thinking, guys, about the goals for next time, any of those ideas that may need a budget with them. And as Bryce said in the chat, happy holidays, everybody. We hope that you are healthy and safe through the new year and look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Happy holidays.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Hey, Meg, I got a quick question for you.